Chantel here again from allthingschristmas.com, and I just want to welcome you to November 1st, or as I like to call it, the socially acceptable beginning of the holiday season. If you don't quite know what that means, that's alright, because I will happily explain it to you with science. So, what does the socially acceptable time of year to celebrate Christmas really mean? So my theory is that November 1st is the beginning of a spectrum from November 1st to December 1st when most people get on board with celebrating Christmas. Whether this be start decorating your home, putting up your Christmas tree, listening to Christmas music, or just generally talking about Christmas. 95% of people will fall within the spectrum, and to prove this point, I created a wonderful chart. Now, there are key dates on this chart, but first, let's get to where I got the data from. I've been celebrating Christmas all year long, sporadically throughout the year for decades. It's part of the whole owning a Christmas blog thing. People who are not included on this chart are just like crazy people who keep their tree up all year long. True Christmas fanatics know that Christmas is special because it's only a part of the year. Also, this doesn't include like people who just simply don't celebrate Christmas at all. They don't fall on this map. There are also three major demographics from Canada, the USA, and the United Kingdom. And the dates, the key dates, do vary slightly. But for the most part, between November 1st and December 1st, 95% of people will get on board with celebrating Christmas. Let's look at how that breaks down. So the first key date is actually November 1st. This is when all of the people who have been holding all their Christmas spirit feel like they can finally talk about Christmas. Most people don't want to hear about it before Halloween. So November 1st, you'll see people starting to actually shop for Christmas, talk about what they are doing for Christmas, start planning for Christmas, and also shops will start fully decorating for Christmas. The exterior of shops usually won't decorate or put up their Christmas trees until after November 1st. There are exceptions like Selfridges, Harrods, and other major retailers where they do it in advance just because they know that they can sell any time of year. So the three main demographic are pretty much all the same for November 1st, in that about 5% of people will start celebrating outwardly Christmas around this time. Between the 1st of November and the 12th of November, the main arguments between not celebrating Christmas too early is waiting until after Remembrance Day, in the States known as Veterans Day. Whoops, sorry, can I just stop you right there, past Chantel? Thanks. Hi, Chantel from the future here. No, wait, I'm Chantel from the present. That was Chantel from the past. Yeah, that sounds right. Anyway, it's 2023 now, which means it is 4 years since I filmed that in 2019. Some stuff has happened. But I wanted to update the video because this video needs an update, specifically in regards to when British people start celebrating Christmas. So it turns out that I've forgotten a rather important key date, actually. I've been reminded of it every year since I filmed the first video, so I wanted to update it. And it's kind of funny that I forgot to include this key date because it's rather important to remember. It's the 5th of November. So after Halloween, yes, there still is the next key date, which I will let Pat Chantel talk about. But in England, there is also Bonfire Night. And it turns out it's a big deal. There's fireworks everywhere. It's like, woo, there's 5 days after Halloween, blah. And then afterwards, it's like, okay, we still have Remembrance Day coming up. But a lot of people start shopping for Christmas. They start putting up Christmas decorations. And so a lot more people start celebrating Christmas or talking about Christmas after Bonfire Night. It's an important one. So now it's included. And back to past Chantel, known as Veterans Day. This is November the 11th, and for some reason people are very uncomfortable with outwardly celebrating or decorating for Christmas before this time. I personally respect those opinions, but I can listen to Christmas music or hear it in stores and still feel a sense of respect on November 11th. That is the next key date on our chart. So November the 12th is the next time when you're going to see a spike in acceptable Christmas celebration. And it's actually quite interesting because this is actually a much higher number in the UK than would be in Canada or the US. In the UK, there are no more holidays between the 12th of November and Christmas. So most people get pretty much on board, and I would say this might even equal about 50% instead of the 10% I've put on the chart. That's mainly Americans and Canadians. Between the 12th of November and later in November, our next key date, the argument that you're going to hear is most likely the argument you're used to seeing online. It's not even Thanksgiving yet. For Canadians, this is not true. Our Thanksgiving is in October, so Thanksgiving is not a hindrance to celebrating Christmas at all. But we do have one major event in the middle to late of November that is a key indicator that it is okay to start celebrating Christmas, and that is the Toronto Santa Claus Parade. It is the oldest Christmas parade, or Santa-themed parade, in the world, and so it has become a major tradition for most Canadians to wait until after the Santa Claus Parade and Santa shows up on his reindeer to start celebrating fully. So that's going to be 75% of people, I would say, after the Santa Claus Parade, which this year is on the 18th of November, are going to be totally down with talking about Christmas, listening to Christmas music. Now this date is slightly later because of American Thanksgiving in the States. Thanksgiving is a very important holiday to Americans, and so you're going to wait until after the third Thursday in November, which I believe this year is the 21st or 22nd. And the day after American Thanksgiving, you're going to see a huge jump. Again, about 75% of people are going to be on board for celebrating Christmas after American Thanksgiving. This is also when Black Friday happens, and that's a whole nother kettle of fish because Canadians and the UK have rolled this shopping extravaganza into their culture, which, I mean, what are you gonna do about it? All right, so here we are at 75% of people. It's the last few weeks of November, and what is holding them back? From my experience, the last argument that you're gonna hear about not celebrating Christmas too soon is it's not even December yet. As if December 1st is somehow a magical portal to Christmas festivities. But some people feel this way, and so it's gonna take all the way to December 1st, which is the last key date on our chart, before 95% of people are on board with celebrating Christmas. Now, it does only go to 95% because there are people who don't start celebrating Christmas until way later in December. There are people who have Orthodox faiths, where their Christmas even lands maybe into January. There are people who celebrate the 12 days of Christmas. And then there is also people who have December birthdays. While I am very excited to celebrate Christmas after my birthday on November 23rd, people with early December birthdays or even later December birthdays may feel like Christmas is just a bit too early at the start of December. So what are some of the concerns about celebrating Christmas too early? Well, one of them is basically commercialism, that because you should be starting to shop earlier and earlier and buy more and more things. This is not necessarily obviously a requirement of celebrating Christmas, even if you start in November 1st. Christmas season is a time for celebrating however you want, your personal family traditions or whatnot. If you want to start doing Christmas crafts and listening to Christmas music in November 1st, then you should be able to go for it. If you want to wait until Christmas Eve to decorate your tree, you should be able to go for it. This is